Well, it's been a fun week this week. Every time the postman goes to my door, the dogs keep attacking it, and as a result, they've now destroyed the cage that the letters come in. Didn't even know corgis were that strong. So what I've done is I've bought myself a little red post box, and I think I'm just going to put it on the front gate for now until I make something a bit more permanent. The only problem is the keys and the fittings are inside the post box. Right, okay, hold on. Ha-ha! Success! Right, it looks like the screw holes are in the letterbox, so I've got to kind of, I don't really have the hands for this, get the screw in, and then, luckily I've got a bit extender on my drill. I'm going to screw this in place. There we go. Not too bad. I've got to put some screws in the bottom, I think, but that'll do the job, won't it? Okay, there's an ever so slight hitch here. I somehow managed to screw it too tight, and now it's broken. They'll teach me for spending 20 quid on a post box. Now, it has been a busy few weeks. In fact, it's been a busy few months. So this week, I'm going to take it easy. We're not going to do too much, nothing too stressful. We're going to do some nice, relaxed gardening because that is exactly what it should be about. So, cheers to a quiet week.
You do realise your greenhouse is coming this week?
No, it's next week.
This week. Have you made a base for it?
No.
You better go make a base then.
Oh.
Also, can I have a dahlia flower bed?
No time for artsy-fartsy shots today. I've got to go. Lot of things to do this week all of a sudden. I'm a busy man. Try and keep up. Right, it's going to be a bit of a busy week this week. I've got to get some timber to make the base. I've got to get some gravel to go around it because I'm going to do a bit of a wooden frame base, I think, which will help with drainage and various other bits. But luckily, I can drive and get most of those things. So, it shouldn't be too bad. Do you ever have those moments where you think, I'm pretty sure I've just jinxed this day? I do. Oh. Why am I slowing down? It's stopped working. I've died. I'd love to say this was no issue at all, but I would be lying if I did. Right, how's it looking?
Well, you've got a leak up here somewhere.
Do you think it's going to be all right?
Well, if I use this, it might. Oh, we got another. You got another one of your water designs. Look at that. It's definitely gone. We got a water feature inside your car.
Right. Unfortunately, having the car on the ramp also gained his attention elsewhere.
The state of your tyres. You've got cords hanging out of them.
Well, it's not that bad, is it?
Unless you're on a racetrack, you might be all right being slick like that, but I wouldn't have said it'd be brilliant on the public roads. Have you been putting extra weight on this or something?
Well, I've not put that much weight on it.
Oh, there's some big old weight in the back of that car. Right, for sure, you definitely need that water pipe doing, so that'll cure that problem. And you definitely need your tyres doing, for sure.
Okay. Any chance I could take you home today?
No, Ish, not today.
Cost me a lot then.
With the cost of the dealerships nowadays, might as well be.
Whilst Roger took care of my car, I would have to rely on deliveries, which instead of today, was 3 days from now. Right, let's get this greenhouse base made. There are many ways you can make a base for your greenhouse. You can do slabs, you can do a concrete pad, or you can even do a brick outline. But in interests of spare material I had and recycling and just being a little bit lazy, I'm going to show you how to make one out of wood. It's actually a lot easier. Now, I've had these sleepers in the storeroom for ages doing absolutely nothing. It was for another project, and in the end, we ended up having too many. So I've kept them, and they're perfectly fine. Now, what I want to do with these is actually slightly bury these underground and have a bit of a gravel path all the way round just to help with drainage. But you can't just stick timber underground, otherwise in 2 years, this is just going to be nothing but a rotten mess. So I'm going to treat it first. If you're using any kind of wood preserver, the best thing I can recommend is go for the thinnest mixture ever. You want it to look almost like brown gloopy water. And the reason I want it thin is because when I spread this in, I need this to soak directly into the timbers. As a result, I know I'm getting much better protection. 2 layers of this, and it'll make a massive difference. The most absorbent bit of your timber is the end grain right here. So as you can imagine, it's going to soak in this mixture no problem whatsoever. But if you don't treat it, it's going to soak in all of the moisture and rot right at the end. So if you're doing a decking frame, a base or anything, always make sure you paint the ends before you put it together.
When preserving wood, 2 coats is always ideal, just to really soak it in. And another really important thing you should do.
Also, it should be an obvious tip, but when you're using a preserver or something a little bit chemically, wear gloves.
Thanks, me.
Another really good perk of doing this in timber is I can put this together and see how I want this to sit. I can see the footprint, which works out really nicely because I'm still not entirely sure which way I want the greenhouse to be or whereabouts. So I'm going to put this together, place it somewhere, and then I'll have a better idea. Right, that's 2 coats on all of these beams. So I'm going to leave these overnight to dry and then I can start digging my foundation and figuring out where on earth this is going to go. Now, the next thing on my list is to grow some dahlias, and I don't have any on me, but I do know someone who will. I've just got to get there first.
Unfortunately for me, that means taking my least favourite vehicle, my wife's car.
I cannot express to you how much I hate this car. Ah, this is what a clean car looks like. It's not like it's a bad car, it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it I just don't get on with. But anyway, I need to crack on and just get something sorted. Why won't it go? Oh, I'm not in drive. Come on, go. Why doesn't it want me to go? Oh, put your seatbelt on. Really? This is the issue right now. Safety first. Oh, there we go. There's something about this car that I don't get on with. Maybe it's just a bit too modern for my taste. I don't know. This car has just too many safety features. It has an automatic braking. I mean, I can see when a car's going to stop. It has lane control, which constantly tells me that I'm not in the lane. I'm in the lane! Stop having a go at me! But it keeps my wife and son safe. So as long as I'm not driving it, it's a good car. Also, because this is my wife's car and not mine, she has cutesy little air fresheners in it, which she's convinced is a lovely blossom smell. But the best way to describe it is it smells like artificial bubble gum. God, I miss my car. Right, here we are.
The place we're going to today is Taylor's Bulbs, and you can see just by the entrance that they know their stuff. I'll be meeting up with my friend Ian to bag myself some dahlias.
Ian, so lovely to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
It is incredibly windy. I don't know how you keep warm here.
Well, luckily I bought you a coat.
You brought me a Taylor's branded
Taylor's
coat.
branded, of
I love that.
course.
I hope you
Yeah.
don't expect me to be lifting any bulbs today.
Small talk over, let's crack on with business.
Ian, I'm in desperate need of dahlias. I can't pick any. Have you got any spare? Have you sold them all already?
We've still got a few left we can sort out for you, I'm sure.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear.
So before we go and look at dahlias, I've got something I want to show you in here.
Ooh, that's not ominous at all.
I won't lie, this felt like a kind of scene where I was about to get murdered, but I can assure you, it was the opposite.
Oh, wow. Well, it's cold in here.
Oh yeah, about 4 degrees in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at all these.
So this is essentially our Chelsea Flower Show display, all at 4 degrees currently in the cold store.
Yep.
So these guys think it's winter at the moment.
It feels like it.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are all commercially available bulbs for Chelsea.
Yes, and what we like to do is try and showcase daffodils, really. All of the different colours, from your pure whites to your yellow oranges and your pure yellows and your doubles and your different divisions. So yeah.
So these are $3.99 bulbs or $5.99 bulbs that I can get in the garden centre that I'm going to see at Chelsea Flower Show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's something quite nice about that.
Yeah.
It's actually It makes Chelsea feel like it's actually something achievable. I like that. Whenever I'm at Chelsea, I'm always annoyed by that air of snobbiness and white shorts in a garden show, but this makes it feel better. Whilst I was here, I had a tour of the daffodil fields and carried on with my normal mischievous ways.
So some of our varieties aren't named yet. So for example, we've got one called EW126 at the moment.
Well, Ish is a nice name for a daffodil.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, glad to know then. Oh well, was worth a try. Thank you! Well, there you have it, some dahlias and apparently a free jumper. Not a bad place, eh? I could spend all day here, but for me, there's more work to do at home. Right, it's the next day, it's a nice warm day as well, and these are all dry. So I'm going to put them together, and we're going to see how this looks laid on the ground. A few screws later, and the base was all made. Right. It's a bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. Right, I don't know if you can see here, but effectively, it's considerably bigger than the polytunnel, which is not an issue. It'll be lovely when it's all built, but it's quite a mammoth task. And I don't know which way to put it. I was going to have it in line where the original polytunnel was. I thought about turning it, but then I had a little bit of a brainwave where I thought actually it would look quite nice along this fence, almost in line with that other greenhouse. That would look quite cool. Plus, I'm going to need a lot more gravel than I thought. Without my car, getting a bulk bag of gravel was not something I can imagine Beth would appreciate in her car, so I thought I'd do the only thing I could do and plant some dahlias. Now, Beth is quite keen for me to make a dahlia border, and luckily that's something we can do thanks to the lovely people at Taylor's. And they've given me a huge box full of dahlias. In fact, there's so many, I have to maybe give some of those as friends. And if you've never seen how dahlias come, they come like this in little tubers, which is quite exciting. All I've got to do really is plant these directly in the ground from April time, but I want to get them started a little bit earlier, ready for our amazing displays. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you're impatient and you want to start your dahlias a little early, it's not the end of the world. What you need though is somewhere slightly sheltered away from frost, and they'll be fine. And I'm going to start them off in some of my old plastic pots. These I like to reuse. I hate chucking them away. And I'm going to fill this up with just some multi-purpose compost. Nothing fancy. I just want to get them started. And you want to make sure the compost is fairly moist, not too hydrated, but also not bone dry. Fill it about halfway and then just plop the dahlia in. And make sure this little shoot, in fact, you can just see there, a little shoot there, make sure that's at the top, like that. And then you can just cover. There you go. Easy as that. Now, some people like to leave the nib exposed. If you're one of those, all you got to do is grab it, give it a little shake like that, and you can pat it down. Now, in about 3 to 4 weeks, you should start to see signs of life. And when it's away from frosty temperatures, I can plant this directly in the ground. But it's a great way to get it kick-started, so I don't have to worry about it. And it means instead of me planting them directly in the ground, I know which one's a good dahlia, which one might not work, and I can plant them up. So the success rate is much higher. One thing I really love about dahlias is they can carry on flowering all the way until early winter, sometimes late autumn. But the key to getting it right is letting it really grow, get nice and tall. When you start to see buds, add a tiny bit of tomato feed every couple of weeks and you'll encourage it to flower. Regularly deadhead these flowers and it will continue flowering on and on and on and on until it's just a little too cold. Now, here's where the kicker comes in. When it does get too cold, what you want to make sure you do is cut the dahlias right at the base of the stem, pull the tubers out, make sure you dig them up and store them in a brown paper bag like this till next year. Then you can plant them all up again and enjoy these year on year. But if you're like me and you have a box of them, for the love of God, make sure you label them. Now, I'm probably going to make about 20 or 30 of these just to really get some life in the beds, and I'll store this somewhere away from frost. So this is going to look fantastic and hopefully it'll keep Beth happy as well. I can't imagine she's going to want anything after this.
Are we just going to pretend you haven't done that greenhouse base?
Well, no, I'm just going to solve it with, good old TV magic.
You can't say TV magic every time you don't want to do
TV magic.
I want a creek in our garden.
I've just done you a dahlia bed. What the